Hey all, welcome back to my channel. I kind of just want to give a little report on how we managed to keep power at our house when Milton hit. Now we were in the eye of it and we did lose power, luckily only for 3 days. But we did lose power, and I learned from previous things, mainly Ian, of how important power is when you don't have it, especially when it's 85 degrees out. You don't have AC or anything, but I'm going to just quickly go through it. I'm recording this after the fact, but a lot of the footage that you're going to see is from it. And I am going to make a note here that what I did here is not what you're supposed to do. I'm not telling you how to do this. I'm just showing you what I did. So don't take this as, hey, this is how you do it, because this is definitely not that type of channel. I'm not doing it correctly, but you make do with what you have. So I have a Ecoflow Delta Max 2000, and I have two extra batteries with it, so it's 6 kilowatts of power, and I can run basically 20 amp appliances. And with that, we were able to run 2 deep freezers nonstop, a fridge nonstop, some lights, and a fan, and occasionally I would turn on our well. Our well is 120 volt also, so I was able to run that from it. Now, when I did turn the well on, I had to turn the deep freezers and the fridge off because I didn't want them tripping, because those are super heavy if they were to kick on at the same time, but I was able to. So I'm going to show you what I did here to do this. One of the big things is I have this 100-foot 10-gauge extension cord. It's 20 amp. And I ran that around my house because I have an interlock system in my house, and the inlet box is outside. And I don't really want to leave my door open, so I kind of ran it around the house through a window onto my lanai, which is where I'm at right now. And then what I did is I have this cable right here. It's a 520 male, and I have a little thing on here to try to keep the water out of it. And this is L14-30 female. And that's how my house locks in. Both hots on this are bonded though, so that means you cannot run 240 volt appliances, but I kind of knew that. I kind of know what I'm getting into. It's a 30 amp interlock kit, and I'm only running 20 amp stuff, so I was definitely well below that. This is 12 gauge. Like I said, the big one is 10 gauge, and the system can only put out 20 amp. I mean, it can go a little higher, but really you're not looking much higher than that. So for me, this worked well though. I'm not going to pull this wire around the house just because it's so heavy to show you how I did it, but basically, because that's just a normal 20 amp connector, I plug this into it outside, and then I plug this into the house, and I'll show you this in a minute here. Here in my breaker panel, one big thing, and I'm not going to do it now because again, this is after the fact now, but before I would do any of the connecting, you want to make sure you turn off all of the breakers. Every single one. Just make sure they're all off. And then I normally turn the main one off as well up here. Alright, let's go outside. Okay, here I am outside my house. Right on the other side of this wall is where my panel is. And right there, you can probably see it is the twist lock up there. Basically all you need to do for this is take this, open this up. It's hard to do because I need 2 hands to do it, but shove it up there, then you twist it, and then it's locked in. Okay, and here's my breaker box. I have all the breakers off right now. And with our interlock, all we have to do now is turn the main breaker off. And when we slide this up, we can slide this breaker on. And so the interlock going outside will let the power in. And all I have to do is turn the power on. Okay, here I am with my Delta Max 2000. All I have to do now is turn the power onto it. And then on the back here, there's a little switch that you can push. Okay, so this is energized now. The inverter's on. But you see nothing going to it. Now let's go back to my breaker. Okay, so now all I have to do is turn my well on, and we should hear the pump kick on. Yep, there it goes. Okay, and just heard my well turn off, so it's all charged up now. I'm flushing toilets and stuff last night. I have a couple other breakers here that I want to turn on. These DFs are deep freezers. And then F is fridge. But I do have other couple emergency ones. I have for kitchen here. So I'm going to turn that on so you get lights in there. This is the bathroom light, living room light, and the kitchen light. This kitchen outlet was for the actual outlet so you can have a 20 amp receptacle. Okay, let's go see what the fridges and everything are using though. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but as it is right now, we're pulling out almost 600 watts. The other 355 are coming from these spare batteries that I have, the extra batteries. So yeah, I'm able to run my well and 2 deep freezers and a fridge and a bunch of lights just fine on the system. This will actually drop down quite a bit here soon. It's just all the compressors kicked on, mainly because the fridge has actually been on overnight, plugged directly into this, but the deep freezers have been off, so they kind of need to cool down a little. So, one thing to note here is whenever I set these up before the hurricane came, we set them at highest so they'll stay cold as long as they can, but we have these marks right here where we normally keep them at. So now that the normal power is on, even though it's generator or the Ecoflow, set it back down to there so we're not wasting power trying to get it colder than it needs to be. Here I am. I actually have 4 solar panels outside. 2 or 3 of them are 180 watt and one of them's 200 watt, and we're currently pulling in about 500 watts and putting about 460 to 20 of it's to an extra battery, none of it's to another one. The other is going to 2 deep freezers, a fridge, and a couple lights in my house. So we're doing okay. It's very cloudy and overcast today though, so. And finally, just one last thing is we definitely don't have enough sun when it's overcast, so we do have 2 generators. Our main one is this Champion dual fuel. We run it mainly on propane because gas is not very fun to clean up afterward, and propane kind of just stores forever. And here you can see running it now that one line is going off to my house to power the house, and the other one is just recharging the battery directly, and I'm pulling almost 2,000 watts. And at some points I got over that, especially with solar plugged in as well, so it only takes a couple hours to recharge these batteries. So having to run the generator for 2 to 3 hours a day, even if there's no sun, and then run the rest of the time on battery, saves a lot in gas.